What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Feast, episode 95, the show where you submit replays and I cast them. I am Delthius. How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all staying safe and healthy in these times. Got a good lineup tonight. We're going to do a couple quick replays. It's been a little while since I've got a feast out, since I've been pretty involved in casting the recent events, the 21 Generals TnT Championship 2020. So I've got a stockpile that I need to start getting to. I do appreciate the submissions, guys. Keep them coming, ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. And yeah, I figured I'd get to a couple, and then we got a best of 5, one of the quarterfinals for the Beginners League coming up after this. I'll do a little editing break just to split it up into 2 separate videos for my channel. And other than that, I'm doing good. I just picked up the FF7 remake, and so far I really enjoy it. I'm only a couple hours in, but I plan to dive pretty deep this weekend. Final Fantasy VII and the original StarCraft in 97, 98 are probably the first 2 like epic titles I got into as a gamer when I was a wee young Delthius of 8 or 9. Yeah, I was 8 in 1997, I was 9 in 1998, so both those games are really big parts of my childhood, and so far I think the 7 remake's doing a lot of justice to the original, so I'm really happy about it. But anyways, guys, let's hop into some Tooth and Tail. Again, I got a couple replays lined up, and not a full set tonight, but just a few, just little tastes, and then we'll hop into some tournament matches. So let's get going. Match number 1, starting it off old school with, when the game loads, there we go. In the bottom left, we've got Bratmo, and in the top right, we've got Vincent. Looks like we got a little bit of a custom game here, where the players have access to more units than usual here. How many is on each side? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10? 2, 4, 6... Yeah, it looks like 10 units for both players, so that's pretty cool. It's hard to really analyze these decks since this is a bit of a custom nonsense kind of game, but Vincent and Bratmo matches are always entertaining. These guys like to play 1v1s mainly against each other, and it's really cool. I appreciate all the submissions they've sent over the years. So let's see how this starts off. Looks like an 8-farm opening from Bratmo. I'm sure Vincent will shortly follow suit. Map looks okay. Definitely a little better here for Bratmo. He's got access to this double high ground, which is really nice. He's got a little bit of a corner expand that could be a little difficult for Vincent to scout. And Vincent's going to open things up with a little mole rush, which is kind of cool if you can hit the timing of it just right. These moles will do critical damage to building farms, but they're not as great at knocking down those pigs once they're fully spawned. And it looks like he's not going to get up there in time to really take advantage of that. And Bratmo did scout it. But, I mean, he must have noticed because it was right next to his commander, but he didn't actually go onto that high ground, so it's not showing up on his mini-map. Well, I don't know. I mean, now I think it's a little bit too late. You got to really hit a sharp timing with trying to do this pre-8 farm mole aggression. Again, you want to ideally build hit a farm while it's building, or hitting a warren. Oh, there's a bit of a misplacement there from Bratmo. These moles are coming in. Maybe they can take out this warren. Yeah, they get the Warren, so 2 Warrens for a few bowls there is a decent trade for Vincent, and he's just going to go straight into Chameleons after the fact, throw down a little bit of barbed wire, maybe to buy himself some time against the counter push that could possibly happen. But this map is so big and awkward, it would be really difficult for Bratmo to get rallied up and get over there before the cams hit, and these cams do such a good job in small engagements. Look at this, Vincent. Straight into a Fox. And I have been seeing, like, the more modern meta with trying to get a fast Fox does normally involve the barbed wire. It's a good deterrent to make your opponent kind of think twice about being able to get in there and scout correctly, or even just push in, you know, outside of things with, like, moles and cams. Cams are still pretty good at knocking that out, but if you got a nice line of units right behind the barbed wire, it can be pretty difficult, even with those melee units that can directly hit the barbed wire. And double cam coming out here for Vincent. Meanwhile, Bratmo just throwing down a little bit of defense, trying to get up to a second base economy. It's a bit of an odd game already here. Gonna use these cams to efficiently knock out that cabin. Vincent looked like he was thinking about taking that gristmill over the side. I would like to see him just grab this cabin, yeah. And a boar on the way already, so this is not a very good game for learning. This is just some silly nonsense coming out here, but that's what we like to see from time to time here on the feast. This is definitely the spot for it. Vincent gonna look to get some work done. He should be able to knock out this pig. Like, there is a turret right there that could be an issue, but I doubt it'd be able to kill a chameleon in time. We'll see how well Vincent re-stealths these bad boys. Oh, gets close. Yeah, one chameleon does drop. The squirrels are really helping out. And this is a little bit bold from Vincent. He wants to come in here and get this war in with these cams, but I don't know if it's going to work. These squirrels are in a good position, as well as the turrets, and that's a nice little early victory here for Bratmo. The fox is here, but there's turrets on the board. There's a lot of tier 1. There's cams. These are all good things to deter the fox away from really being able to get out that harassment. Vincent wants it, and he's going to get it. Loses the cam, but delays the boar. Nice little victory there for Vincent. He's just going barbed wire, cam, fox. Why do we need all these different units? This is a bit of a crazy match here. I'll fast forward it a little while these guys are building up. Let's see if Vincent can get any work done with this fox, but he needs to be careful. Looks like Bratmo is thinking about some aggression. Gonna hit these mines. Not gonna do too much damage though. And here's the fox, racking up some bacon. 3 kills, very nice. Gonna get out of there. And this time around, the owl is hitting the field. I'm curious if Bratmo never actually did get back to scout the fox. I was wondering if maybe he put that down as a bit of a counterplay to the fox. Snake's on the way as well, so Bratmo's in a pretty good spot to keep this sniper at bay for the moment. Got a lot of anti-fox repellent spray on the board here. I like this snake positioning too. If Vincent tries to be cheeky and come in the same way again, he can flank with this snake. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna lose this little mill he took over here, but that mill I think was mainly for aggression, to try to, for one, you get some territory out of it, can heal your units. For two, Bratmo does have a lot of those juicy defenses. Oh, let's see if the snake kills this fox. Now, modern snakes, they do apply that slowing poison, so oftentimes you get one hit on the fox. That's all you really need. Ooh, 2 HP. Gonna get out of there. If that was 2 snakes in position, it definitely would have worked. But style points for Bratmo nonetheless. And this is interesting. Like, I'm liking this better for Bratmo. Vincent did come in and get some damage done. Keep that in mind. You know, he did knock out a lot of pigs. He did take out that tier 3 Warren. But Bratmo's economy is a little bit in the lead. I like his army comp, but that is a lot of chameleons. 6 chameleons is nothing to bat an eye at. And chameleons actually do well against the mice also. Can get in there and tank those mice for the other units to really take them out. Those mice do get some value on the barbed wire, but now Vincent's going to move in, using this as maybe a little bit of an opportunity before more mice spawn. He's coming in. Bratmo should be able to hold 1 fox shot on the owl, but he's going to need more than that. Ooh, this owl's in a deadly position. The fox gets it. But the rest of Vincent's army is in shambles here. These chameleons on the front. The snakes do pretty nicely against these cams, though. As long as they have something to tank for them, they can poison them up and really help deal with that re-stealth. However, the pigeons are helping against the poison. And we're pretty far into this game, to be honest. 7.5 minutes in, and the economies are not looking that great. Bratmo's got a little bit of a lead, but keep in mind, Vincent does have the campfire as well. Almost burnt out, though. I think Vincent's going to need more than just Cam Fox to really push in here. Oh, the snake does go down. The pigeons here really helping out against that. Vincent's moving in, trying to get as much value as possible. And now his economy is starting to rival that of Bratmo. Ooh, getting a pig there is nice. Oh, but that's a little bit too far forward with that fox, and Bratmo punishes him, knocking that out. But again, you've got these 6 cams here that just do so much damage. Pretty poisoned up, though, but he is going to break through, but not with enough units remaining to really push the issue, gonna come home for the time being. Gonna go ahead and sell off that Fox Warren. I think that's a smart move. Maybe try to get some more farms up, but Vincent needs to be careful. I feel like I was gonna say he needs some squirrels, but he doesn't have any. 10 units. No squirrel, no lizard. This looks like a good opportunity for Bratmo, but again, man, you can't underestimate chameleons in bulk. They really get a lot of damage done. Oh, look at this. I think Vincent's gonna try to backstab this Gristmill. Maybe once the main attack comes, if he rallies just right, he can probably order those moles to move in without moving his commander too far. However, his commander does go down, but not before these chameleons start engaging the army, and this is gonna be okay for Vincent, but the problem, I was gonna say, yeah, he might not get the re-stealth off, but he is gonna manage to get another chameleon falls of poison, but here are the pigeons to back it up. This is looking good for Vincent. Here come the moles from the back. This is a crazy match. Man, that turret on the high ground is award-winning. That thing has got so much work done this game. This is a very weird match. We're approaching the 10-minute mark. Bratmo wants to get some damage in, but now Vincent's economy has pulled ahead. More and more cams, and even the moles being rallied over. A little bit of miss micro there, I feel like, but they are going to come in for the flank. Just some very bruisey army composition here with some healers for Vincent. Bratmo's had a pretty cool comp too, but you know, Vincent's been constantly aggressive. And in between the army trades has managed to pick off a farm every now and then, grab a warren, stuff like that. And that might just be GG. Bratmo's got nothing left here. Let's see what Bratmo's last stand moves are. He's gonna... Oh, he's got nothing. He can't even build any units. He'd have to have sold off a warren, but even if he tried, it probably wouldn't matter at this point. And that's gonna be it. A crazy match to start the night off with. I like it. Let's keep it moving and grooving. Into match number 2, an old school name with some new submissions. Love to see it. Spunny at the bottom, we've got Taro Taro, and his opponent up top, Sly Fox. Sly Fox is a very old school player. He played a lot around the launch of the game and into like early to mid 2008. Great to see him coming back and, like his namesake, rocking that Fox. And he's actually using a deck that I've experimented with as well on the ladder. I think it's a pretty cool composition. But finding the right time to get out the Fox, you know, can be difficult if your opponent's really on top of their scouting. But we've seen players gain success with it. You know, especially doing things like utilizing mines and especially barbed wire seems to help out a lot these days in trying to get out that Fox. Because generally you want to get that Fox out sooner rather than later, because the Fox isn't going to do as great as something like a Badger. Once we get to like big mid to late game army comps, you know, the Fox kind of wants to be on a field that's a little bit straggly, so it can get in there and pick off units and kind of delay fights. And Sly Fox doing a little bit of crazy stuff here. He's taking an expansion not exactly where you'd expect one, and he's even throwing down a warren, both of these before that 8th farm. I wonder if that was intentional or maybe you just kind of forgot to build that 8th farm. We have seen that happen to players before. It's an easy mistake to make. And it can be unfortunate, especially when you have the loss and you're like, what happened? It's like, oh man, I forgot that farm. Let's see, Sly Fox trying to pull some sly things. Has Taro scouted this? He hasn't yet, but he's about to. Oh my gosh, he still hasn't seen it. Now he knows. But maybe Sly Fox is going to have enough squirrels out here to defend this. Yeah, a couple are getting rallied from the main base. And this is a tough spot for Taro Taro. Lucky for him, Sly Fox doesn't have anything like turrets to really abuse this positioning. But he can throw down some aggressive mines to really fortify this. And there's that 8th farm. So again, I'm not sure if that was intentional by Sly Fox or Or maybe he just kind of messed that up. But then again, you know, getting that mill out a little bit faster than you'd expect by skipping out on that 8th farm. However, it is questionable if it'd be worth the difference in economy. But Sly Fox pushing forward. Getting a lot of work done. You know, these pigeons in small numbers is not really where you want them. The pigeons are great a little bit later on once you hit the mid-game. But at this phase of the game, the early game, you really want to just focus on, like, squirrels ideally, especially when you're under pressure like this. But these pigeons are helping these squirrels tank a couple more shots, but it's just not efficient enough. And Sly Fox got a lot of tempo this game. If he keeps the pressure up, you know, this might be a very, very short match. Getting into that Squizzard comp. And this is looking bad for Taro. I wouldn't even hate to see maybe sell off the pigeons, throw down an emergency turret. Cam Warren on the way. We'll fast forward a little bit because I don't want to delay the tournament matches too much. All right, Sly Fox moving in. He's got a lot of units here. This is probably enough to just run Taro over. Good trade, but he's going to come back and he's going to wait for the cams. Even picked off a pig during one of those engagements. That's huge. Nice due diligence here. Sly Fox just looking around, seeing if perhaps Taro might have a hidden map on the base. Some scouting mines. That's kind of cool. A little bit of an investment there, but information is always nice. And there we go. Sly Fox has used this opportunity while... Taro used the opportunity while Sly was running around to place down some turrets. This should help a little bit in the defense, but Sly Fox has just taken so many favorable trades. His army value is through the roof. Taro knows what's up and taps it out. All right, let's see some more. Match number 3. In the bottom left, we've got Protocam. And in the top right, QQ. QQ running this interesting comp we've seen from him previously. Same with Protocam. Both these guys playing a little bit off meta here. Protocam really relying on the whole menagerie of tier 1 units, and then ferrets, I guess, to maybe put pressure on. Like, with Protocam's deck, he doesn't want the game to last forever, right? Even gonna do a mole rush, but QQ can sniff it out, especially because Protocam was just kind of standing there, you know, next to him. So he's like, well, there's only one thing you could be trying to do here. So yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting dichotomy of builds here. You know, Protocam wants to be aggressive with this style of play. He doesn't want the game to go on too long. He doesn't have any of the hardcore mid to late game units. And he's got the ferrets to really put pressure on a situation where he can't just brute force through, right? So I think that's a nice addition to this very aggressive style, but he needs to be aggressive with this to work, especially because QQ's game plan, you know, outside of this lizard aggression early on, is very geared towards the late game. You know, QQ wants to cut a nice chunk of the map for himself with the balloon barbed wire and get up to a lot of ferrets and a boar and a fox to just take the game in a very siege fashion. And what's cool about the lizards too is, you know, the lizards are basically a Swiss Army knife unit. You know, once you have that in your deck, you know, that you have the possibility to just basically mass lizards, right? And that's a whole strategy in and of itself. So I kind of like that with QQ style, because the rest of his deck is kind of map dependent or situational. So it's like, all right, plan A, you know, I macro up, I cut off a big section of the map, I make it very hard for my opponent to attack into me while I build up a bunch of value units. And plan B is, okay, if I can't do that for some reason, I can always just spam lizards and try to take the game that way. But Protocam's got toads. which definitely throws a wrench in the gears of the mass lizard plan. But the toads, I mean, the toads are still great against lizards, don't get me wrong, but they're not as oppressive as we'd seen in previous patches. You know, the toads do a little less AoE damage than they used to and more single target, which makes them better geared for taking on like tier 2 units and stuff. But Protocam putting on the aggression here as his deck would dictate, and starting to get some damage. Picking up that pig is huge. And this is starting to not look good for QQ. He's trying to get out these ferrets, but I'm not sure if that's the best unit for the situation. We'll see if he can make it work. I mean, he needs something else besides just lizards because of toads, I suppose. But Protocam is not messing around. Already picking off another pig here. Warren went down, you know, all the tempo is in Protocam's favor. And I just don't see these ferrets really making a difference here. You know, these ferrets like to try to gain value in between direct engagements. And I don't feel like Protocam's really going to give him the time to do that. Nice try by QQ. But Protocam sees what's happened. No, you can't build those farms. Yeah, he gets them away. Those moles are going to get that gristmill. This is it. I mean, QQ's hoping that he can get some value out of these ferrets. Again, in between the next big engagement. And a couple tier 1 units have gone down. But he's going to need a lot more than that. I think he's gotten 3 so far. 4. So that's starting to get some work done. But here come the toads. One ferret going down. The other toads are starting to engage. Oh, there it is. Really aggressive play here from Protocam. And again, QQ, man. He's dreaming big. He'd love to get a boar out, but I just don't think he's got the time or the money. And this is kind of the danger of just running one tier 1. You know, you just run lizards. You face the risk of your opponent using things like toads or barbed wire. You just run squirrels. You're running the risk of your opponent using skunks or something like that. You know, Squizzard does pretty well against skunks, but if you just got straight squirrels, those skunks will wreck you pretty good. Let's see what happens, I believe. Let's see if QQ can make a miracle happen. Otherwise, very good play here from Proto. Staying aggressive. He's miles ahead at this point. Oh, we're hitting the 5-minute mark, and 2 of the remaining 3 pigs for QQ goes down. This is very unfortunate. That could have been some of the pigs that were already killed, you know. But 2 of the 3 remaining were starting pigs, so that's super rough for QQ. One farm, but he afforded the boar. He afforded the boar. All right, man. Sell the barbed wire. Get up to 9 lizards. Trying to make something happen, but he can't afford to lose any lizards at this point. Yeah, it's rough. All he's got left is this boar, and I don't think a single boar is going to get the job down by himself. He can sell off some wire. He can build back up to a few lizards here. Here's a big daddy boar, though. Maybe with some good micro and some patience, he can really get a lot of value. Nice flame starting out. He needs the micro this back. And look at this. Roasting, toasting. All of this tier 1. Oh my god. Is QQ going to come back in this game? I mean, keep in mind Protocam has been very aggressive. Yeah, I'd like to sell on the ferrets there. Oh my gosh. He's selling everything. Oh, he's just going to try to mole all in. But the board does roast down structures very quickly nowadays. Oh, and this single lizard will be able to deny those. Protocam with the sell on everything. This is crazy. This is kind of funny. Like, the board just, like, hard countering Protocam's entire deck. Maybe Proto would have been better off with, like, snakes rather than ferrets for this kind of style. To give you something against, you know, bigger units like badgers. Well, I guess lizards can kind of deal with badger or fox or that sort of thing. But snakes would be a great addition to handle the boar or the owls. That kind of stuff. Look at this hero boar winning the entire war. One-man army here. He's going to do it. That's GG. QQ comes back with the Hail Mary board play. Absolutely insane. That was awesome. Alright, we got a few more guys. And then we got a best of 5 quarterfinals to go into. But I did want to say hi. I know it's been a few weeks since I got a feast out. I've just been... my schedule lately is every Friday night I try to do a couple hours of Tooth and Tail content. And either doing the feast or doing events. And lately we've had so many events going on. I've been really prioritizing that. But alright guys, match number 4. Let's get into it. Couple old school names again here. We've got Ramako and his opponent to the bottom left, Duhu. Duhu, phenomenal player. Very old school. And I've seen him. I haven't played a ton against him lately, but he's normally been aggressive. Normally he's been using moles this time around. Rocking that double tier 3. Both players with double tier 3 here. And I've been trying to do some double tier 3 stuff. I think it's pretty fun. It can be hard to pull off. It's a little bit of a pipe dream. I think my issue is I try to get into it too fast, you know? And get punished, but... one thing with any RTS game, it's really important to really hard define the lines of greed. Like, I just started getting into playing again in the last week or so, and I've just been doing very greedy things on the ladder, just kind of seeing, okay, what can I get away with? You know, winning's not as important as kind of learning, all right, you know, 3 farms in this situation is too greedy, but I could get away with 2 and hold and that kind of thing, or when can I put down a tier 3 and actually survive, even if it is scouted? It's important to sharpen down all those edges, I suppose. No chameleons in this game, which is kind of interesting. Big meta unit lately has been that chameleon. But we've seen a little bit of snake play more recently, which I kind of like to help deal with the chameleons and also deal with the variety of tier 3 units. And let's see. I mean, Ramako has come back recently, I think. Let's see what kind of shape he's in. Is he trying to go for... Yeah, I was curious if he was trying to get the 8 farm double into tier 3 build, which is very risky. But with turrets, he might be able to do it. Duhu playing a very standard game, by the way. I actually really like his opening. It's a great one to kind of copy on the ladder if you're looking for some build orders. I think he went like 8 farm, Warren into mill, into either tier 2 or second Warren into farm. This is generally okay. If you see that your opponent's taking a tier 2, you can typically get away with 1 farm like this. Now he's getting a little bit more greedy, but it's going to be fine because Ramako's expanding already. And I believe, yeah, so he saw the gristmill from his opponent. Like, if you see a gristmill go down by your opponent, I think you're normally pretty okay to get into a couple farms. Where you can run into trouble is if you try to farm up when your opponent's just massing tier 1. I think kind of the rule of thumb is like, you can play 60 food behind. You know, you could be a gristmill behind, but you don't really want to throw down farms until you see your opponent either go for a tier 2 or go for a mill, because otherwise if they're just massing tier 1, they can run you over, especially with moles nowadays. Moles are a very, very good unit to punish greed in the early game because they build so darn fast. You know, if you're opening up like 8 farm, 4 squirrel, let's say, and then you go and scout and you see your opponent got like a mill and a couple farms, you can follow that up with like just a few proxy mole warrens, push in and just win most of the time. Badger coming up. Very greedy stuff here from Ramako. I feel like if Duhu scouted that tier 3, well, he has gone up to 8 farms though, to be fair. So actually I think Ramako is safe. Now he's going for the double tier 3 though. That's very greedy. But I think Ramako will be happy once he sees the 8 farms on the second mill. He didn't quite get that full scout off, but he did see 4. And Duhu's got a hidden fox coming up. So we've got a really greedy macro game on our hands. Now Duhu gets the full scout. And Ramako did scout the full saturation on the 8. Or full saturation on the 2nd, that's what I meant. Look at this. Look how greedy these players are being. What is this, Wall Street? That was a bad joke, but I stand by it. 21 farms. And a fox. Let's go. Lots of mines, too. Yeah, minefields like that can be really oppressive, you know, because it's very easy to think, oh, surely they can't have more mines, and they do. You know, you hit a couple mines, you're like, whatever. But you hit that many mines, I mean, that's just going to wipe an army. But Doohoo's kind of banking on Ramako coming in from that path. Ramako's got a few options. He can come down here and attack there. He can come in this way. As Ramako scouted the 3rd, he has. Man, this is just the greediest game of all time here. Fox is out, though. Let's see some work get done. One pig will for sure go down. And these mines will get... I mean, these mice will get some value against the mines. That's one good thing Ramako has going for him. Now that he knows mines are on the field, I often say some of the most dangerous mines are the first ones to go off. You know, because you're not aware that mines are even there to begin with. Now Ramako knows, alright, mines are here. He can do a little bit of mine sweeping with owls, or what I like to do when I'm running Squizzard or something like that, maybe Squirrel Mole, is just build like one Lizard Warren or one Mole Warren, one Toad Warren, you know, and use those to mine sweep. But the mice are very good mine sweepers here. Trading free units for mines that cost 20 bucks is nice. But Doohoo needs to be careful. He doesn't have any really cost-effective way to tank these mice until his own owl gets here. Gets another pig with this fox, so that's cool. He's only got to kill 4 more and it's paid for itself. Yeah, this is what Ramako wants. He wants to set off all these mines with his mice. And the fox trying to run in and get some value. Fourth base economy coming out here for Doohoo. And it's cool seeing this fox like get a little bit of value even in this big army comp. Ideally, he probably wants his fox up on the high ground here so he can get pop shots off on the key units. This is an insane army that Ramako is putting together, though. Doohoo's really on a clock. Like, he can't sit back and just let Ramako get this ultimate composition up. Really nice aggression here. Look at all these tier 3 Warrens, man. What a crazy game. Doohoo's got the better economy. He's got some real damage done. He's putting together an okay army, but what Ramako's got going for him is the later that this game goes on, as long as Ramako can mitigate the damage, survive this aggression, he will put together the better late game army. Oh, these owls are getting so low. The fox coming in to start pick off these juicy low HP tier 3 units, but the mice and the pigeons tanking some of those sniper shots. Badger going down. Very nice. But there's more with where that came from. Yeah, selling off a couple of these tier 3, probably a smart move. And the economies are stabilizing. Doohoo is still ahead. I mean, the one thing that Ramako, the silver lining, I guess, is that that base that got knocked out for him was kind of on its way out already. You know, it was more than halfway mined out. These snakes, really doing a good job. You know, the combination of the snake poison and these fox pop shots really keeping this tier 3 in check. Blech, blech. And now that Doohoo's got his own owls out, a little bit of counter mice play to cauterize the wound, stop the bleeding here. Man, I'd love to see a word for Ramako. He's got 2 badgers and 3 owls. That is such an insane comp. But all the snakes, all the tier 1, the fox in the back. Doohoo's putting up a good fight. Another badger gonna drop. Yeah, this high ground position is where that fox wants to be. It's nice and safe. They can get some shots off on these high value units. He doesn't really want the fox to shoot the mice, of course. And Doohoo doing his best to target fire with these snakes. However, that was a little bit too much there, as the snakes were in a bad position to get overrun by the spawning mice. This is a really cool combo, though. The snakes, like, bruising up these high HP tier 3 units, and the fox just sniping them down. It's not every day that you see fox actually do decent against owl, but keep in mind, it's a lot more than just the fox here. It's the snakes, it's his own owls. And now the game's gone on long enough to where Ramako's actually got the better economy despite everything. He's got his double badger. He's going to go up to 4 owls here soon. And Doohoo's running out of steam a little bit. He's got a lot of money invested in these mines. Are they going to play out for him? Badgers walking into the minefields. Oh my god, this is so tense. The badgers hitting the mines, but not the bulks of them. And now Doohoo is starving. Another owl going down. Another badger going down. Doohoo punching back here. Dude, this game is awesome. Blah. Blah. This base in the corner completely mined out. What does Doohoo have left? He can rebuild a few farms on this base he's already kind of mined out. His mice just do not stand up against the numbers of Ramako here. And this fox is outliving its usefulness. It got a lot done this game, but eventually getting overrun. Doohoo knows what's up. Ramako taps out with just the constant insistence to get up a very powerful tier 3 based army. Alright, a couple more guys and gals, and we'll hop into tournament matches. On the left, we've got Sly Fox, and over to the right, Mochaccino. Okay, let's see how these players match up against one another here. Sly Fox, again, an old school great, coming back into the fray. Mochaccino, a little bit more new school. He's not super new at this point. He used to play under a different handle for a while. I think he's been playing at least a year and a half, so kind of hard to call him new. But I think if we split the line, like for the old versus new tournament, you would have Sly on the old and Mocha on the new team. Pretty short map here. This kind of, to me, signals it could be an aggressive game. Depends on how these players want to go, though. Both players have access to a pretty nice natural. Do have that option to macro up into their more powerful units if they so please. Again, Mochaccino with a 7-farm mill here. I guess that's kind of his little trademark. Kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm buying it, but it's cool to see people experimenting with different openings rather than the straight 8-farm. I think a 5-farm lizard opening can still be viable. I've actually been playing around with the little builds where you can do like a 5-farm lizard harass without delaying your economy too much. If you kind of order everything, you can basically be like moving out to harass your opponent when you've got 3 lizards and all 8 farms building. So that's kind of nice. Depending on your opponent's positioning on units, you might be able to snipe a pig for free. And look at this, Mochaccino going for a lot of eco, but this is off the back of scouting. This isn't blind. I think if you try to do something like what Mocha's doing here blind, you're going to have a bad time. But Mocha did scout. Okay, Sly Fox taking a mill. He's farming up, so that makes me safe to do the same. And as a general rule of thumb, it's always nice to be a farmer too, ahead of your opponent when we get into these greedy situations. And here comes the boar from Sly. Let's see if Mocha can get the scout. Mocha's normally pretty good about his scouting. And man, look at that, just barely sees it before his commander goes down. Meanwhile, Sly's going to come in. He's going to get a nice count on the second base. He's going to wait to heal up and then try to see what kind of tech's on the way. He's going to see the double tier 2. So, pretty normal opening here for Mocha. I think he's playing a macro game very nicely. He's not being too greedy, trying to get into that tier 3 too fast. And on the same time, I think Slyfox is doing like a macro opener into tier 3 fairly nicely. I don't think he's being overly greedy as well. He didn't go crazy on the farms or anything, just now getting that tier 2 now that the boar is bought and paid for. And this is kind of cool, you know, kind of preempting, okay, what's going to mess my boar up? It's going to be falcons. So maybe if I can get my own falcons out, I can help protect it. Mocha's going to come in and get that scout to confirm that that tier 3 warren is indeed still there. He knows the boar is about to be here. I liked a couple mines here as well. I don't think Slyfox saw those go down. And again, Slyfox hasn't seen mines at all this game, so he doesn't really have a reason to expect them. Alright, the boar is here, and I think this is a cool comp for Slyfox. I really like the addition of the falcons, because he knows that falcons are what could beat him. So therefore, gonna get a few of his own to try to knock his opponents out of the sky. And Mocha did a good job transitioning into a lot of tier 2 before the fight happened just now, putting in more tier 1, but tier 1's not exactly what you want against the boar. Great target fire from Mocha, but he's not gonna quite get that boar, and his commander actually falls as he's trying to micro there. A nice victory for Slyfox. Keeping that boar alive is absolutely huge, and now that it's got a few pigeons to heal it up, that big old HP pool will be back in no time to do some more tanking. So close by Mocha. Almost killed the boar. And if he did, that might have been game in his favor. But he's also kind of building a lot of tier 1 against the boar. And now that the boar is roasting down that tier 1, these falcons are vulnerable. And I think that might just be it. You know, I'm surprised we haven't seen more boar play lately. This is kind of a pretty heavy tier 1 meta. And the boar seems to do pretty nicely against that. I think the boar would even do fine against chameleons in general. Really the weakness that you gotta worry about is the snakes or the falcons. Maybe wolf or fox as well. Mocha's taking critical damage, but he's not going to give up just yet. He's going to try to re-rally one more attempt. One more last stand. But I think Slyfox has got enough here. And that's going to be a tap out. GG. Nice victory there from the Slyfox. Alright guys, one more, and I'll do a quick editing break, and we'll hop into the tournament matches. Alright, here we go. Okay, on the left we've got Heartseed, and his opponent to the right, Dizon. Now, Heartseed's composition is really cool. He gave me some trouble during the tournament with this. Definitely knows how to play it well. It's an innovative style, so it's not something you're really expecting. Ideally, what Heartseed's trying to do here is carve out a good chunk of the map with the barbed wire and balloons and just pressure you to death with the ferrets while he's getting the mass of falcons on the back end. Meanwhile, we see Dizon with something a little more standard here. Squirrel, Mole, Chameleon, Skunk can really punish Heartseed's style, in my opinion. You know, the Mole and Cams can be a little bit of a no-nonsense kind of units if Heartseed's investing into things like defense or ferrets. But I feel like the deck that Dizon's got, you know, it's really based on the player's ability to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Like, you really need to know when to strike, right? Like, it's a very momentum timing oriented deck. Like, okay, you've spent, you know, 240 food doing this greedy thing, therefore I can build some Mole Warrens and push in and deal critical damage right here, right now. You know, I feel like that's the kind of mindset you have to have when playing things like Moles. We see some really good players that are great at that kind of stuff. This guy, Haru, the Gentleman come to mind. But a greedy opening from both sides, which I think is what Heartseed wants. And Heartseed is being so incredibly greedy. Like, if I tried this, I would just die on the ladder. I don't know how he's still alive. He went up to 4 farms on the second base with no Warrens. He's very lucky that Dizon is also going for a macro style. If Dizon had like opened up with 4 tier 1 Warrens or something, then Heartseed would have just died. But this is what Heartseed wants. He kind of got away with it. And instead of pushing in, Dizon's decided, all right, man, you want to play macro, we can play macro. And he's trying to build up his own second base. Yeah, but even with one attack path, all I'm saying is if you win against an opponent, if you try to do something like that, and your opponent opened up 4 tier 1 Warrens, you'd just die. But that's not what Dizon opened. But Heartseed also did that without scouting the second base. So it was very greedy. And he definitely risked being vulnerable to a timing there, but he got away with it, which is good. 4 cams on the way from Dizon. Even going to go into the third base. So looks like we got a little bit of a macro game here. Heartseed maybe opting to sell off this wire because he feels comfortable at this point. Trying to get up to a considerable amount of ferrets. Maybe try to throw a balloon down on the edge of his territory or something. And just a lot of chameleons here from Dizon. They can do pretty nicely against ferrets if your opponent's being a little bit too far forward and you set up a nice little ambush. But Heartseed's getting ready to rock and roll. I think he's going to take this mill up here to expand his territory so he can throw down an aggressive balloon. And this is not looking good for Dizon. Like, Heartseed's economy got up a little bit faster. He's got a nice army put together. Dizon can try to push into this, and he does have a lot of chameleons, which typically do good against this sort of thing. But let's see if it works. That's a lot of lizards. It's a lot of tier 1 backing this aggression up. Oh, I need to get those cams out of there. Okay. I was going to be super worried if he kept pushing, because it's like, you can push in and lose those 3 cams, or come home and let him regen, and Dizon made the right choice. Lets those regenerate up. He's going to get that wolf out. Once that wolf hits the board, you know, Heartseed's strategy here might be in trouble. 4 ferrets is a lot. You know, 2 ferrets, it's very easy to kind of micro against that and make them not get so much value. But once you get up to 4, man, they can really put the hurt on, even during a direct engagement. And this is looking good for Heartseed. This is what he wanted. He's starting to carve out the map for himself. This balloon gonna give the extra range to the ferrets in the form of vision, since ferrets can shoot farther than they can actually see. I mean, the amount of vision that the balloons gives, it's very easy to underestimate. This is a very defensive fortification. Dizon's trying to push into it. I kind of wish he would have waited for his wolf first. And he's going to clean up most of this, but he doesn't have enough units left over that can actually shoot these falcons. Now Heartseed's pushing in. You know, these squirrels really need to kill the falcons. Like, the moles and cams can kind of deal with everything on the ground, but this is looking good for Dizon, or Heartseed rather. Dizon's double wolf warrens is really wrapping up his income here. I think the double woof was a bit greedy. Dizon tried to throw down a second woof warren and attack in. I think he would have been better off like waiting for the one woof to finish and then going. But I understand why he wanted to move in. He didn't want to let Heartsea get too fortified there. And this constant aggression with these ferrets might spell doom here. For Dizon. Yeah, I think Heartsea got enough value in that last engagement. But the wolf is here, so that is something. Those cams, if they get that wolf buff, will do a ton of work, and here they go. Look at them just wrecking everything. Dang, man. Alright, this is Dizon's chance. He's got the wolf up. He's erased Heartseed's army. These buffed up squirrels going to do a great job against the falcons. And that might be it. I think he busted them. Heartseed's got too much money wrapped up in these tier 2 warrens. Not enough tier 1 warrens to really rebuild an army very fast. And now Dizon's on top of it. And yeah, there you go, man. Wolf cam. Very strong combo there. Okay, guys, I'm going to do a quick, I think that was all 6, yes. Alright, so quick editing break, and we're going to hop into a couple championship matches. So don't go anywhere, I'm just going to stop the stream so I can split this up into 2 videos, so 1 second.